And we are back live, and I'm so close to sneeze. Seriously. It's just going to happen in any second. Need to look in the light.
Let me move away.
So, we're still in our IFA roundup, last slots here at the TechLounge 2016 from Berlin. And I'm so glad to have the Pocket Now crew over here.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
Thank you for having us. Such a pleasure.
How is it going? How was Berlin? How was IFA?
Oh, it's a great show.
I'm still trying to understand the public transportation.
we got messed up. We got messed up on the S-Bahn trying to get back over here today.
I'm sorry about that.
I've really been enjoying the cabs.
The cabs are pretty nice.
They are nice.
They're all Mercedes.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty
Coming
much.
from the United States, where you're like, we might get some old beat-up Toyota, and you're like, oh.
No, they're all Mercedes. And you know, this is about contracts that Mercedes is just giving to all these tax companies.
Yeah.
And actually, the combination of My Taxi
Yeah.
and Halo, which is the biggest distributor of taxis in Europe,
Yeah.
belongs to Daimler.
Interesting.
This is why Uber is also having a really hard time over
Something
here.
every day.
Yeah, saying a little
No, but I'll tell you,
inside,
Berlin is gorgeous.
It is.
It really,
especially with this weather, right?
No, it lived
Oh,
up.
yeah.
It definitely lived up to my expectations.
But it wasn't the first time, right?
No, this is our first
this
time
is
in
both of
Berlin.
our
I didn't know that.
No, in the past it was covered by Michael and Tony.
That's true.
Yeah, so I would.
That's true, of course.
It's my younger son's birthday yesterday, so that's the reason why I would never come to IFA. And Juan, well, you joined the team.
I'm the new guy, so they had to bring me along and start getting me introduced to all this fun
Now,
stuff.
that was a great kickoff show, wasn't
right?
it?
Yeah. Well, the phenomenal host city too. This has been a blast.
No, Berlin is a great city. I used to live over here for a year.
I was about to ask you.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
part of Germany were you from?
Dortmund, close to Cologne, western part of Germany.
Okay.
And so I used to live over here for a year.
Okay.
And I really liked it.
It is. It's beautiful.
It is. At that time, it was still a pretty. It's still a pretty cheap city. It's not expensive.
No.
It's very international. It's still little bit edgy and rough, which I like. Yeah, totally. It's not so ultra clean and shishy and
not too sanitized.
no.
Got to mix it up a little.
It's a weird city.
Yeah.
Well, it's an interesting blend of Eastern and Western Europe.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
I love
it's
that.
The gate.
For me, I have a really hard time knowing up until I start looking at the buildings, and this looks like Romania. Yeah, this is Eastern. Because I've been to Romania. It's like, this
nothing
is
against
I love
Romania.
it.
Nothing
No,
against.
no
It's
one from
beautiful.
Romania,
It's just
please
very
take
different
offense.
architecture.
Yeah,
Very
it
different.
is. It is. As soon as you go, I mean, now we are in the western part, Charlottenburg,
Yeah.
where we are right now. Actually, the old racetrack is right behind us, which is now the Autobahn. It's called the Avus. And in the 30s and the 40s, and even up to the 80s, where we had Salonka race, there's still huge stands over there.
Wow.
You can see this right behind the IFA.
Wow.
And that no longer takes place?
No. Now it's part of the city Autobahn.
Oh, gotcha.
Berlin is a pretty cool city. But let's talk about IFA.
Yes.
Let's talk about, what was the coolest thing at IFA? Besides the fact that he is carrying dangerous goods. Are you allowed to take this on a plane?
Where's your fire extinguisher?
Are you allowed
we
to
were
do
saying
that?
we should stand guard on our flight back
You
home.
know how that works?
Dude. Oh. Dun, 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 dun. Somebody tweeted this photo at me of his Galaxy Note 7 on his resting table with a fire extinguisher on the side. I don't know how many retweets that got, but that was like the most hilarious.
And then minutes after that, the fire alarm at our hotel got tripped. And you're like, must have been another Galaxy.
And I'm like,
Galaxy Note
there are
7.
so many tech people in this hotel right now, all of us carrying Galaxy Note 7.
I figure I get about 2 more days of really good Note 7 exploding jokes before it's a done
No,
topic.
I've had this one with how to safely charge your Note 7. Have you seen that one?
No. Pull that up. I want to know, because I'm getting my Note 7 actually when I get back.
I feel so bad for them, right? I mean, Samsung SDI is one of the biggest battery manufacturers in the world. They're building high-quality batteries, and now they've been trying so hard, right, to get that device out, of course, before the iPhone 7. Right? And it's their flagship device.
I don't know about the experience. I got my Note 7 really early, and I really don't have any problems with it. I don't have any complaints. I guess it's probably on a batch per batch basis or whatever the case may be. We've known that to happen for many companies. I mean, I think the iPhone 5 got a major recall of batteries, but then Apple had the advantage that all you had to do is go to an Apple store, they swap your battery. And that's it.
Well, but they didn't acknowledge it until right before you were able to buy the iPhone 6. Well, you know, if your iPhone 5 has battery problem, why don't you come on in? We've got this new iPhone
and you know,
we can
we were
show
talking. We were talking about this with Juan. This would have been so much easier if Samsung would have figured out a way to add a replaceable battery to this thing.
Yeah, if it really is the battery and not the charging circuits, then you've got the opportunity to just pop it out.
Are you kidding me?
I'm actually surprised that
Show
someone
it on
didn't do
camera.
like a short film.
Show
of
it
the
on
Hurt
camera.
Locker.
It's like, this is crazy. This is crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think 2 more days. 2 more days of really good jokes at Samsung's expense, and then we can
Come
all move
on, they have to get through this.
Well,
now.
but
we did the same thing with Apple when they had their Bandgate, right? It was hilarious. Or think about the Apple Map or Antenna Gate or Scuff.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is I think Samsung's response to this has actually been pretty responsible. Like, I think they're doing a good job of addressing it.
Well, I wrote an article, a little editorial piece, the very first day that came out. I said, you know what, Samsung, what you need to do right now is, you need to just go forward,
Get out ahead of it.
Away.
Absolutely.
Say, super sorry, we're gonna recall all of them. You're getting a new one, and
yeah,
off you go.
but that's the problem. People are not getting a new one. They're being offered an S7 Edge,
Really?
and a gift card.
Right. To try and make up the difference between
Exactly.
the S7
So
Edge
that's
and
the problem. I really don't want to stop.
Problem.
I really don't want to stop
what?
using my Note.
Yeah.
You know, I actually do use certain of the features that are unique to it.
I don't.
I do. We're weird.
Yeah. Are you using the stylus?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, he all around town. They're like, oh, well, let me look at the website and see. Well, we've already done the story, and like, and he's like screenshotting and exiting. I was like,
No,
all
like,
right,
okay,
Mr.
so what I
S-Pen.
use a lot, like, for example, we're here at the trade show. We're done with our coverage, but obviously there are a lot of other cool things
that
in
we
the
want to
show.
see. Yeah,
and I'm like,
absolutely.
all right, so why don't we use the website as a reference, grab the S Pen, pull up scroll capture, take a long screenshot of the full website, and then just start scratching. Okay, this is done, this is done, this is done. That's the way I work.
That is nerdish by nature.
Yeah,
Right.
nerdy by nature.
Seriously, that's a good one.
I love it.
You should tell Samsung about this, right? They're gonna do a video out of it.
They totally could get an ad out of this
Yeah.
guy.
As if we were people grata. But going back to your question about IFA.
Okay, well, what's the cool thing of the show?
You want to start?
Well, for me, actually, we were kind of talking about this off. Is this sort of notion of coming back to style and wearables? You know, there was that huge explosion of Android Wear, all these different manufacturers that were coming out into the space, and then some sort of peripheral players that had other options and other solutions, and then seeing some of these coming to fruition, more fashion designers getting on board. You know, I know that Samsung, Apple, Huawei, Asus, they're all doing a great job of cleaning up their design.
Yeah.
But those aren't names that your general consumer is going to understand
Right.
and want to, bolt something, wear something that's technological. So to see some of these other companies, the Nokia acquisition of Withings, and then see Withings come out with a beautifully simple fitness tracker. We stopped by the Fossil
Which
group,
I
see
just,
a number of those products.
Here's the thing. I walk in here and I learned that there is a Fossil group. I've been using Fossil watches before I started using...
First smartwatch from Fossil came out about 15 years ago. I think it was called Abacus.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Was it an actual abacus?
I
you
think it was called Fossil Abacus.
You could do your simple arithmetic
There we go.
on little beads.
So we went to
I would wear that
So we
watch.
went to the Fossil
It
group.
was running on Palm OS.
Are you serious?
No, I am, of course.
Oh
It came out in
I would
2003.
wear that. I would absolutely
Oh
wear
my
that.
God! With the scratches and everything?
Yes, of course. That was the thing. I mean, people are buying jeans, with holes in there and stuff.
Gotta
No, but
throw a Fallout
I guess
logo on
I
that.
guess I was most
Pip-Boy that sucker.
my
That's a
most
good one.
impressive part of IFA was pretty much that. We went to CES, we went to MWC, we did the same last year, and wearables were getting a very minor spotlight.
Yeah.
And then comes Samsung and just takes a full Tempodrome venue just to announce, a circular, full-blown, no-holds-barred, the Gear S3, which I actually like a lot.
It's a beautiful. I would go for the Frontier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful
watch.
But going for Juan's point, I love that these companies are no longer like, yeah, let's make this a geeky watch.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's please just make it look like a regular watch and add smart features to it.
Yeah.
But in the vein of what Juan is saying, I guess that I really liked Fossil's approach with the hybrid.
Yeah.
It was announced 2 days ago. We went hands-on recently. I love the fact that most of the people's complaints are the watch is too big. Most of my friends and the people I know are like, the watch is too big, I would never wear it. The watches are not made for women.
No.
Smartwatches are not not for women.
The S2 is now the women watch.
Yes, pretty much.
Right?
The Gear S2.
The Gear S2 is now...
It's a small watch.
Yeah.
No, the problem with the S2 isn't the watch face. It's the fact that it's like a triple stuff Oreo that sort of sits off of your wrist like a lump. And again, I mean, like when we're talking about, because it's not like I've got the most rugged frame for a man. So especially in looking at that consideration, I know this dude is like, Murr. My little hobbit hands here. So in trying to take that into consideration, it's not also necessarily just how bold the watch face might be in terms of surface area. It's just how far does it stick out, and whether or not you're apt to be raking that against sort of your daily obstacles. And I think that also is something that needs to be taken into consideration.
Yeah, so what I love about Fossil's approach is it looks like a regular watch. The only thing is it connects to an application, and that application allows you to get notifications, and these notifications arrive in code. So you tell it if the hour dial points here and the minute dial points here, and the center dial points into alert notification, this or that, you are the only person that knows what that means.
Yes. Yeah.
So in terms of privacy, what's the thing about Android Wear? You get a notification, and obviously that huge avatar of that person in WhatsApp or whatever messaging service you're getting is going to pop up, and you can't really control that.
And it illuminates the diner that you're in.
Exactly.
So spotlight into the window of your soul.
And so you can't really, there isn't really any privacy. Like, my biggest concern with Android Wear was pretty much that. It took a year for Android Wear to be able to allow you to lock the screen. Yeah. And even so, it's not as reliable as the Apple Watch, where you every time you take the Apple Watch off, it locks itself. You can't do that, but then here with Fossil, you don't have to worry about it. It's a $175 watch. It comes in various different sizes, different options for whether you want a large watch or a small one. You don't have to charge it. It's a CR2032 battery that lasts for 6 months. And so you eliminate all the problems of the smartwatch, because what do we complain about? Having to charge the thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or we complain about it not being fashionable enough. So that would be it. I guess for the show...
Well, I have to give it to Samsung. I think Tizen looks fantastic on a watch. I think this is by far the most sophisticated wearable OS right now. It's very, very easy to learn. I love their rotary bezel.
But see, that's where I disagree. I love the design of the Frontier.
Okay.
I would totally go for the Frontier.
But you hate the OS.
It's just the rotating bezel. It's like in the case of the Apple Watch, the digital crown. How many times do you actually use it?
All the time.
I don't.
All the time, though, of course.
Well, but again, I think in part, when we're talking about what we should be looking at for a watch, a momentary interaction, at-a-glance notifications, at-a-glance snippets of applets.
Yeah.
It's a problem not of intuition. I don't really believe that anything is intuitive. There's just varying degrees of familiarity. And so Tizen on that round crown is not going to be very familiar, but I think it's an easy system to learn. Now,
absolutely.
Can we convince consumers to learn it? Is a minor stumbling block outside of the communities that I'm sure we're all talking to regularly.
I'm pretty sure they're quite successful with it. Well, first of all, they're number 2 on the market.
True.
With it.
True.
Like market share of 15% or something.
When I pulled out the Apple Watch out of the box for the first time, and I have to admit it, this is a geek about to call out a blonde moment.
And you thought, oh my god!
So I grabbed
mark the time right now.
I've ever had.
It's 5:22.
And after that,
September 4th.
I grabbed the watch. The hard press to change my watch phase, and I started looking at the different options that you could select, and I kept thinking, like, how do you fix this? How do you? It took me an hour to remember that the digital crown is something, and that you rotate it and it gives you the different options. It took me an hour in the Gear S2 to figure out the notifications were rotating to the left. The problem is it's not intuitive. It's not something that's natural.
Well, it seems like technology is not really your thing.
And that's
but he's really good at origami.
And that's really the thing. That's really the reason why I like Android Wear. I feel that the card's interface is probably the smartest one. Where if they could just figure out a way to make it a little more private, I would probably like it a little more. But I like the fact that what's the reason why I don't like the Apple Watch? If you're using WhatsApp and you get 10 notifications, people don't text you in paragraphs. No. Well, I do know people that do, but people don't text you in paragraphs. They'll send you one-liners.
Right.
In the Apple Watch, you get that crazy animation. And then animation, and then animation. You can't really read what the messages because you keep getting animations. And then after 5 animations, you've got 5 messages.
Yeah,
and you can't really go into those messages from the watch. You're forced to pull out the phone, and then I'm like, so it completely defeats the purpose.
The usability of the Apple Watch, no matter what kind of reviews came out, I have no idea how they created these reviews. From any kind of usability point of view, this is just the most terrible thing that I've ever seen. When I see this seriously, the app overview.
Yeah.
On a 1.4 inch or 5 inch display, and I have to.
I can't tell the clock. I can't tell the clock from the timer.
No.
I just can't. And then the Force Touch technology doesn't work here. It works there. So that's again my problem with Tizen. I feel that Tizen looks great. But I feel that there are just so many different ways to interact with the watch that it's just too convoluted.
Well, and also we're talking about a corporate philosophy. It's like I'm wearing a Pebble because it's practical and we're stomping around the show floor and I don't want to have to be worrying about this dying battery life. But I really do buy into that philosophy of this being a very momentary interaction. I need this is the gatekeeper to when I will pull out my phone. Knowing full well, I am going to pull out my phone, but this is going to be the doorman that tells me when I'm going to pull out my phone.
The battery life is, actually the battery life is too good. Yeah. The battery life on the Pebble is too good because you completely forget about charging it, right? And
I get down to that 10% warning going, right, I do need to do that.
My only problem is they sent me the red unit.
Which the red unit's the best, and you just have to have good taste to appreciate it.
But seriously, it was the Apple Watch that stopped me from wearing smartwatches after being wearing Pebbles for 2 years. And then the Samsungs and the Motorola's and the LGs. I love the...
Urbane, Watch Urbane.
Yeah. And, but then it was the Apple Watch like last year. That was in May. I've been wearing it for like 4 weeks in May, and then I gave up on smartwatches. I said, you know what, okay, that's it. I also tried to kind of convince myself that I need a smartwatch, especially in the way like, oh, you know what? You have all your notifications now on the wrist of your band. You don't need to pull out your phone all the time. And the scenario that you were describing, right? I really talked myself into it, but then I also stopped with the notification on the phone. I said, you know what, forget about this goddamn push world. I'm just switching off all the notifications, and I'm going to be the master of all these networks again. I'm going to let them know when I want to read anything, right? I still have one important email if something went wrong. And you know what? If something is really, really important, people are going to call you.
People are going to call you, exactly.
It's going to happen. And I hate it when people are calling you when it's not important.
But that's
I think it's rude. Actually, I feel like it's rude when people are calling me.
Yeah. But that's the thing, Sascha. You're Generation X. I'm Generation X. You are too. We come from a generation that did not need any of these things.
Yeah.
The problem is millennials don't see it that way. It's like texting is the way to go.
Well, I mean, let's lay our cards out on the table, is that the smartwatch is not a product unto itself. It's a baby step into whatever future forms of interaction. And I think one of the general trends we're going to see is this very quickly became everything.
Yes.
Right? We put everything in here, and now I think it's time to start peeling a few of these pieces back off. And so one thing that I think phones still do very poorly are notifications. I think they're demanding. I think they're intrusive. And so smartwatch at least is that first step in a conversation that trains us into expecting a different style of interaction or a different gatekeeper.
You don't like when Asphalt 8 notifies you of something?
Or like Marvel Future Fight tells me when
Beijing, right? Watch out.
What?
Uh-oh. What's going to...
What's on?
You didn't show me that.
Worried that something's about to jump out at me here.
Oh, yeah, you're... That's right, you're a cyborg. I forgot.
Put an NFC chip in
That's
the app.
Awesome. I want to put... So there's a tattoo parlor that does magnets in your fingertips, and I want to do that so bad.
Let me show this here. Should I show this in the one? Yeah. Okay.
So I want to see from the monitor.
So NFC is on. Yeah.
Look at this cyborg.
Here's my hand.
It's like, I want to do stuff like this so bad.
That is a crazy launcher you got there.
Oh, now it's not working. Oh, here we go.
It hates you.
See you now. Oh, sorry.
Well, I mean, did you actually want them to have all your contact info?
So now
like the times I freak out when I accidentally put someone's phone number in a review while I'm actually using the phone.
And this is just a V card that I can put on there. It's only like for it's 1 kilobyte of RAM, flashy storage.
Interesting.
Yeah, and but it's good enough for basically each and every NFC card.
Will your body eventually break that down?
I have no idea. Let's see. No.
How long have you had it?
For half a year now.
Oh,
we were in Beijing.
It's like completely capsuled right now. It kind of Oh, wait, where is it?
He lost it.
It's here. It kind of wanted up a little bit, like by 2 centimeters.
And how does it feel? Do you feel any discomfort?
No. You can still see it here, right?
Yeah, I think I need to do that.
It's not.
There you go. There you go. Okay.
If you can just send me the name of like the plastic surgeon
Yes.
or whoever.
I'll stick to using a smartwatch.
DangerousThings.com. I'm not kidding. that's the name of this shop where you can actually buy the whole kit.
Right. But ultimately, I mean, kind of wrapping up whatever we were wanted to say about smartwatches, like to think that that's going to be a product as a tier that exists for any length of time before we move on. And I think audio is going to become more important again.
Oh, yes.
Heads-up displays are going to become more important again. Face computers are going to become more important again. And our phones are eventually going to become sort of more the modem and communication center rather than the thing that I have to stare through the world at for every little interaction that pops up in my sphere. So smartwatches, I'm a fan, but I'm a fan because I know progress is happening and it's probably going to take us away from our wrist eventually. Just like no one walks around in the United States with a Bluetooth earpiece drilled into their head 24/7 anymore.
Right.
But they did.
Well, they did, and then we got over it.
And that's the thing.
The ghetto headset.
The question, I guess the question
that
big
old Moto like beetle that like would stick out of your ear.
I guess the question that I have about, I constantly get asked the same question. Do you need a smartwatch?
No.
No. The answer is no. Do you need a tablet? No. These are nice things to have, but you actually don't. Smartphones have come to the point where you kind of do need them. Like the simple fact of coming to a city you've never been to and wanting to commute from point A to point B, you need a smartphone. It's like it has reached the point of becoming a need. Sadly, smartwatches have not reached that, and these companies are trying to make this a fitness thing.
Yeah.
I understand the point. I understand the purpose. But, I still feel that it will take some time. I think the technology is still too far away, starting with autonomy, battery life.
Yeah.
Starting with, the fact for Apple to come up with a convoluted operating system.
It's so uncharacteristic.
It's so uncharacteristic, But you just try to have the watch do so many things.
I'm pretty sure that Jobs would have never brought this to the market. No way. No way. And when people were still telling you, that's the next big thing, and all these analysts were going bonkers on it, saying, 35 million, 40, 50 million, they're going to take... Apple is going to be the one who's going to finally define the variable market, right? It's going to drag the whole industry into this heaven of revenue.
No, I think we're radically approaching a good services market.
Yeah.
The TikTok on hardware. I've actually done most of the show floor on a $400 Honor.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the phone that I've
The Honor 8?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Isn't it a great little phone?
Isn't it an absolutely beautiful phone?
I love that phone.
Yeah.
Jeez. And also the new mid-range Huawei one.
The Nova.
Was it like $379?
Well, I think I'd still take the Honor over the Nova.
Because I truly believe that this is, the backside is the most beautiful backside that was ever created for a phone.
The fact that
blue version.
Well, and the flush camera sensors.
Yes.
And that they're not just flush; they're completely unbroken from the rest of the glass on the phone. It's gorgeous design.
And I guess
have you seen the Nubia?
Yeah.
That's also I have one here. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
They have I was a little bit confused when they explained it to me. Like, okay, you can just kind of swipe here on the edges of the glass, and then it does things. But it made perfect sense. He was showing me a video that he recorded with the Nubia, and figured out that it wasn't bright enough, right? And then he just swiped up on both sides of the glass to turn up the brightness. What you have to do with an ordinary Android phone, you have to go into your notification, well, the video is stopping, you can't see anything, and he was just doing it right with the video.
You remember, like, when like, I want to say it was in the Galaxy S, had that very first interaction where you would swipe just from the notification shade?
Yes.
And where did that go?
Yes.
Why did that disappear?
Gone.
That was great. So you would just pull the very edge of your notifications, and then you would swipe, and it would control your screen brightness. You didn't have to fully pull the shade down. And it sounds like such a first world problem, but it was such an elegant ergonomic gesture.
You know what? I think
need that back.
that the Nova launcher can still do that, and that's the one that I'm using actually. I think you can still set it up with it.
Okay, you keep talking. I'll see if I can figure that out.
Yeah, again, this is the most beautiful smartphone that I've ever seen. I'm not kidding.
I like this one a lot. That's actually the other point that we were going to make about IFA. I'm very surprised with Huawei. Ever since they launched the Nexus 6P, this is
seriously, it's a beauty. It's unbelievable.
The only breaks are the flash and the fingerprint sensor.
And Jaime, you're absolutely right. It all started with the 6P.
Have you seen the Huawei Mediapad M3? I have one there. I left it in the.
I am not a hand model.
Have you heard
look
that
at these
thing?
stumpy fingers.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Have you heard that thing? So I thought
it's not as good as the Axon 7, but it's pretty good.
Oh, but okay, so we all say, like, you don't need an iPad Pro, but if you ever hear those speakers, you'll go crazy.
They are very good.
Okay, that Mediapad is
it's on a different level.
And it just makes content, like, usually you end up consuming content from a tablet with headphones because speakers on tablets are terrible. Except the iPad Pro and except that Huawei Mediapad.
I agree with you. Well, in general, I think it is amazing to see where Huawei came from these $99 phones that they were selling, the first phones that they're selling into the Western markets, and they had this kind of cheapish image, and all of a sudden they started with the P6, they went premium, and then they went on. I've had their head of design here, which is actually a Korean, who joined them right after the P6. But you know what? I think it's even more interesting to see the story of Honor.
Yeah.
Oh.
From scratch, in the first 12 months, 20 million devices.
Yeah.
Then in the next 12 months, 40 million devices. And now they are going for 50 or 60.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful device.
In North America, we
came with the case.
What are you saying? Your video, blue is the new rose gold?
Yeah, blue is the new rose gold.
I love that. I love that.
You should coin it, right?
I wanted to put it on a T-shirt.
You should do that.
Absolutely.
No, you know what? It's fast enough. The Kirin 950 is fast enough. It's a Mate 8 processor, right?
So the Kirin 950 in every test that I can run loses in graphics and then totally wins in CPU performance. I mean, like, okay, it's maybe not the best game playing phone, but for actually getting your stuff done during the day, it's been phenomenal. And that's coming in at a $400 price point. Again, just blows my mind.
A friend of mine will be really, really happy tomorrow because she's going to get this. In this color.
Well, and then getting the IR blaster back so you can use it as a universal remote. That was a feature I loved on older phones. I mean, like, it's been a great companion for the show floor.
I really like it, what's happening in this kind of $300 to $400 class.
This was the
year I'm getting this, what's, $150, $200. It's also very, very interesting, especially for markets like India. This is why Apple can't crack it, right, with the SE.
No, with the SE?
Yeah. The 5S is still the most sold smart phone, Apple phone in India, which is like $300 over there. And it's way too expensive. The average price is about $150, but people are more leaning towards $75 smartphones.
But even in North America, even in a first world market, with Alcatel, ZTE, Honor, OnePlus 3, I mean, we had great options this year.
Absolutely.
That completely are competitive against significantly more expensive devices.
Yeah. I give it to Honor. This is the coolest phone that I've seen this year.
My happiest surprise.
It's kind of weird to say this, right? Because it's not a weird flagship device.
We would have never thought a year ago.
This is the coolest phone of the year. Yes, I'm using a 7 Edge, and I love the Note, and I love all these other devices that came out. But the whole package of this phone, for what you're paying and what you're getting and how it looks like. I mean, this is the most personal device that we have in our life. After all, and also the most customized by what kind of apps we're putting on there,
and that
what we're listening to.
Right? Like the question that everybody asks you, the question that 90% of the people will ask: does it have a good camera?
Yeah,
right.
That's what it has a good camera.
Yeah,
it has a good camera for $379.
Yeah.
bam.
It's the best camera.
And
for
you know
that.
what?
So I would say
put it on a table or on a bar, or everyone will ask you, "Oh, what is this?"
this is the only phone, like walking around in Los Angeles, this is the only phone that when I've been using it out in public, people have asked me what that is.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, because there are enough obviously smartphone cues that people are like, but what is that? And then once you start seeing like how it plays with light.
Oh, is this the new iPhone 6s? Yes, I also have one. I have two.
It's not as much of a status symbol as it used to be. Yeah.
But this is, seriously, their president was here, and I told him, not that I was begging for another one. But
you were kind of begging for another one?
A little bit.
You begging for like 3 more?
A little bit. Exactly. This is just, it's even the goddamn best giveaway.
Yeah.
The present that you can bring to a friend.
Yeah.
You know what? Ditch your S5. Yeah. And here is a beauty. It's not only beautiful, it also takes amazing pictures, and you're going to love it. And therefore, you're going to love me.
As we have the most comprehensive camera review of the Honor 8 and the Huawei P9 on PocketNow.com.
Actually, they do, and you did that one.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that video, guys.
Shameless plug.
We have to call it a day. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
5 minutes break. Then Nicole will be in here with the Android Authority guys, and then we're gonna, then that's IFA 2016 for us. So I see you soon.